Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. So today's topic is trainer education, and the title is Balancing Being a Friend and a Trainer. So, if you're in this business as a trainer and you're listening to this podcast, that two parts. Number one, if you're a trainer, hopefully you're in it to make a difference in people's lives and to help them. And I would say overwhelmingly most trainers are. There are trainers who are jerks and kind of just worry about money and, don't look at it in what would I consider the right way to look at it. But if you're listening to this podcast, you're typically not going to be one of those trainers because you're willing to seek out improvements and see if there's ways that you can become better. And typically people who don't care don't look at that kind of stuff. So if you're a trainer and you listen to this podcast, chances are you do care about your people. Now, today's topic is going to discuss, do we care too much? Okay? And it's not that I don't want you to care. It's just we have to find the right balance. As, kind of hinted at here in the title, is you want to be friendly with your clients. You want to be a nice person. You want to enjoy the company of each other. You want to kind of be pleasant and become friends. But you can't do so at the expense of being their trainer. So this is kind of like, you can think of it as like a parental rule, is parents are parents first, friends second. And they hope they can get to the friendship part. But your job as a parent is to parent your child first. And if that means that you don't get to be their friend for a certain part of life, or a day, or a season of life, then so be it. That's your job. Your role is parent first, friend second. Now, as a trainer, we have the exact same kind of overall dynamic. You're a trainer first, friend second. If you do not keep that order, you will not do what's best for the client. You will not do what's best for you. So clients came to us as trainers because they want results. They would like to get results and actually enjoy the training, enjoy the person they're with, but they want the results. So we all can go hang out with friends, but if you're not getting them healthier, you're just a friend, not a trainer. So you have to remember what your role is. Your role is to get them results first, then to be their friend. Just like a parent is to teach a child how to be a fully functioning, quote unquote, normal adult. So don't be the jackass that we all don't like. Okay? Teach your children to be normal human beings. And that's your job as a parent first, then you get to be friends second. And often, if you focus on being the best parent, you will become their friend as well. Because they'll see that by you being strict at certain times, even when they didn't want the strictness, it was because you cared and you loved them enough to be the bad guy every now and then. So people will see that. Kids will see that as they grow older. And clients will see that as you in you as a trainer. So the overall theme that I like to think of for personal training is tough love. So in the sense that we have to be tough whenever they want to be lazy. So most people, when they hire a trainer, there's going to be, obviously a lot of circumstances in which people work with trainers. But overwhelmingly, most people, when they work with a trainer, it's because they want knowledge, they want accountability, they want some things that they can't provide for themselves. So they need you to fill in the gaps. And sometimes that becomes the gap of motivation. So they're not super duper motivated to work out. So when they come in and they're whiny and bitchy and they don't really want to do much, our job as a trainer is to kind of wake them up. Get them to realize that this is important. They're here for a reason. They need to get their ass to work. So we need to remember that. So that's the tough part. But as with the phrase tough love, there is love. So, and that's the friendship. You need to be what they need you to be, not what they want you to be. Now, we're going to talk about this and give some examples, but that's the overall theme. Tough love. That's your job as a trainer. Okay, you can think of it as being a parent. And ask yourself, or kind of think to yourself, is be what they need, not what they want. So if they need someone to push them when they're being lazy, that's your job, not to join in the laziness with them. Okay? If they're fired up and going crazy and trying to make everything, black and white, and say they go on a diet and everything's black and white, everything's, have to be perfect, and I need to do this, this, and this, and this. And you're like, hold on, this is not sustainable for life. I actually need to pull you back. You're going too deep here, okay? And you're never going to keep this up as a regular, healthy way of living. I need to pull you back. So at times as trainers, we need to kick them in the ass, and sometimes we need to pull them back. So you need to be what they need, not what they want, okay? So some things to think about, and usually where trainers kind of struggle with this, is when their client is struggling in life, they have to kind of decide as a trainer, what's most important right now? Do I be a sympathetic ear? Do I kind of help them as a friend would help them? Or do I keep cracking the whip as a trainer would do? Okay. And of course, there's never a need to be either extreme, but that is the way we think. Which way do I need to be, when actually right down the middle is what we need. So, so some examples is something I would want you to think of as a trainer is the issue they're going through temporary or chronic? Okay. Is this something that is just a momentary flash up? I can kind of be a little friendlier, give more of the love part of the tough love right now, help them through this spot. And then, they're going to get through it. We're going to move forward and everything's going to go back to the right way. So is it temporary? Or is this person chronically negative? Is there always problems coming up? Do they always, always, always seem overwhelmed? And you're always having to play the friend role, never getting to be the trainer, never getting to push them to get the results that they need that maybe they don't want. So is this a temporary thing, or is this a chronic thing? So some examples is I've had people where maybe their pet died, like the night before a training session or the day of, and they still came to the gym. They still wanted to get their workout in, but they're just not in the right frame of mind. It's a tough moment. They're, of course, reasonably upset. I've even had people kind of cry in the middle of the session, and that's been a tough time. And that's where the love part absolutely comes up. So you might find some training techniques that are a little bit easier. Maybe not do some stuff that is so technical that day, because they're just not going to have the mental capacity to kind of learn super technical things in that moment. And also don't do something that really requires a lot of forced finding of motivation. So where you say, listen, we're going to do this for 100 reps. We've only ever done it for 20, but I know, I believe in you. I trust in you, and we can really do this today. They're not going to be ready for that day. Okay. So just getting them on a piece of equipment that's familiar with them. Maybe some movements that are safe, even if they're a little bit mind busy or mindless. Okay, so for example, on a leg press that day versus a squat variation, that might be a better idea, because even if they're kind of a little spaced, they're thinking about the pet. They're going to be safer on that machine than they may be with a free weight. Okay, so those are kind of singular moments that happen. I've had people, they broke up with somebody. It was maybe boyfriend, girlfriend. So usually divorces take a lot longer than just a single workout. And of course, relationships do too, but they tend to be a little faster. So I used to train teenagers, and, 1 week they're crying because so-and-so left them, and the next week they're dating somebody else. Okay. So sometimes that happens, but I've also had people who went through, seasons of, stages of recovery after, say, a divorce. And that would be considered like a season of life. So we have temporary things that come up that are kind of like singular workout moments. They come in, you can tell this isn't going to be a good day. So you give them a little more of the love part of the tough love equation, but you get them through the day. You make sure they got in there, they got something, they were safe. They got a little bit of a step forward, and hopefully now they can kind of get over it. And not that you get over a pet dying, but you know what I mean. The next time they come into the workout, they'll feel a little more normal compared to the way they normally do their workouts. So then there are also the seasons of life. So like we said, if somebody's going through a divorce, I've had clients go through custody battles with kids, and they're not sleeping much, they're not eating much because they're depressed as hell. There's financial constraints and issues. There's just a lot going on. And in that season of their life, for that 2, 3, 4 month period, They're going to need more of the love than the tough part, okay? So those are times where you have to consider to myself, like as a trainer, I'd say, hey, you know what? I've been working with this client for, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and I can tell that this is going to be a rough patch. But I know this client, they're pretty dedicated, they work hard, so I'll help them get through this period, even if it means we don't make quite as good progress. But I want them to stay in the gym so they can stay in control of their physical health, which will help their mental and emotional health. So you want to keep them physically active. And if you did too much of the tough part, they might just crumble and not want to come to the gym and maybe quit. So you have to kind of lean a little bit more into the love and get them through that season of life. Then there are the chronic situations. And I've had people who were just chronically a pain in the ass. So they came in, they said they wanted results, but they came in and they're whiny. One day they're tired, this day they're stressed, this day they're that. There's a hangnail, so they can't work out that day. I mean, there's just chronic problem, issue after issue after issue. And those are the people that we have to be careful of and ask ourselves, am I helping them become better or am I helping them stay the same? So when I've had clients that were like that, the balance of being their friend and their trainer was difficult because I could tell that they didn't, the trainer in me was not going to be able to get results. So I wasn't going to get them fat loss. I wasn't going to get them improved, blood markers. I wasn't going to help them with arthritis or bone issues or like even just aesthetics or strength. There was always something in the way. They'd always show up a little bit late, or they'd always show up and bitch and whine rather than actually be ready to work. And it just always was a struggle to do what I knew was needed to get them results because they were just chronically complaining, defeated, negative, kind of like I joke about it calling Eeyore mode from Winnie the Pooh. So they're just living in Eeyore mode. And those are times when you have to ask yourself as a trainer is what's best right now? So am I going to be able to make this person, am I going to make their life better? Or am I just enabling them to stay the same? So I've had people where like clients have left. Like I either fired clients or clients have left me because I wasn't willing to give up the tough part, okay, of being their trainer. I wasn't willing to give up being a trainer and only play the friend role because that would not have been what was best for them. So if you're a parent and your child struggles, maybe they do something wrong, okay, maybe they misbehave in school. If you cover that over for them, they're never going to learn the lesson. They're going to continue to make those mistakes as they become adults, and the consequences of those mistakes are going to get more and more severe. So if you are a parent and you are playing the friend role and you are protecting your child from the consequences of their choices, you are a bad parent. Okay, you might be a good friend, but you're a bad parent. You need to allow your children to learn what the consequences of poor choices are so they can become a better human being. They can develop better character. So they can learn that lesson when they're young and generally when the consequences are the least kind of life damaging. So that's our job as a trainer as well, is if somebody comes in and they're eating like shit and they're not following the diet and it's because of this complaint and that complaint and it's because of this and that and it's always excuse. If you just let them get away with it, if you agree with them that life is hard and it's too overwhelming, you're not helping them. They're never going to get better, especially if they have blood issues. How the hell do you think they're ever going to get healthy? Okay? You're going to be their friend the whole way to them having a heart attack. You're going to be the friend that helps them get diabetes. Why not be the friend that helps them fight that stuff, that makes them improve, that gets them better? Now, that can be tough because we feel like if we're too tough, they'll quit and they'll leave. So I've had that happen. And you know what? I really don't regret it because I made the choice that I felt would have been best. What would I have wanted someone to do for me? So I had a client one time who was chronically just depressed and complaining and whining and bitchy. They never wanted to really do anything. They were always saying they were tired. And I kept always bugging the hell out of them saying like, listen, this is life. Like, you've been telling me the same shit for last month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. You're not doing anything to make it different. You're putting in no action, but you're complaining every day. So I had a client that was giving me $600 a month, and I cut the client. I fired him. And I don't like it. It was not. I was not helping them by agreeing to take their money. I was not making them a better person. So screw the money. I don't give a shit about money. I'm in this life to make a difference in people's lives. That's what I want. Okay? When I pass away, all the money I have is staying here. But the lives that I've changed gets to come with me. That's the effect my life will have had. That's the riches that I want to accumulate. Is who have I improved? How has my life helped others? Not how much money did I have back in my bank account when I died. That doesn't mean anything. So I fired a client, $600 a month. I don't care. So I wanted to be a wake-up call. I wrote them an email and told them why. And I told them that I was still their friend. And I would still help them with training and nutrition information. And I still wanted them to be part of my life. But as a trainer, that was not going to be the correct role for me in their life. So I wasn't helping them, and they were actually hurting me because I was pouring myself into them every session to the point where I was fatigued and kind of just run down and burned out. So I had to help myself, which in turn helped me help my other clients because I had better of myself to give to other people. Okay? So if my presence wasn't helping them become better, it was only helping them stay the same, that wasn't the best use of my emotional health. To have no significant difference in their emotional health. Okay? So another client who always just bitch and whined about not making faster progress. I told him, you can't only work out once a week. Got to do twice a week. And so they started doing kind of a piss poor second week workout a week. And then they were complaining that they weren't getting results from that. And I'm like, listen, you've been out of shape, overweight, lazy for 20 plus years. And you think 1 hour a week with me plus some half-ass effort on your own is going to make any damn bit of difference when you're not doing the nutrition right? Yeah, you're putting in more effort than you did before, but bullshit lazy effort rather than just complete lazy effort, like lack of effort, no effort. Okay, it doesn't make it. It doesn't cut it. You actually have to care. You actually have to try. Try harder than medium. Okay? So you were trying 0 before, now you're trying medium. Medium effort and 2 workouts a week don't do anything. So I kept repeating that over and over and over. Every excuse they gave, I told them it was bullshit. And that they had the power to correct those circumstances. Every single time I told them how hundreds of people had corrected those circumstances before them. So I never let them rely on their excuses. I kept repeating what the best results and best kind of efforts and answers were. I never changed the answer. The answer was the answer the first time. It's going to be the answer the 100th time. That client left. But 2 to 3 years later, they came right back because they knew I was, like, what I told them was right. In 2 or 3 years, they hadn't improved. They hadn't gotten any better. They were the exact same. But so where did they come when they wanted to finally make the change? They came right back. And I'm not saying this to praise myself. Okay, and I have had people who left and didn't come back. But if you love into people, tough love, okay, and you tell them what is the best answer for them, even if they don't like it, they may leave you as a trainer, yes, but you will still have done your duties as a trainer. Just as when you're a parent and you have to tell your child they're being a jackass and they need to straighten up, okay, that's your job. Your job is to present to them why what they're doing is a mistake and how to correct it. Not to cover the mistake, not to give excuse to the mistake. Okay? So, as a trainer, that's what you want to do. You want to find a balance between tough love. So how can you be their friend and their trainer? Is always ask yourself, am I being what they need, not what they want? Am I helping them become better, or am I helping them stay the same? And the golden rule kind of question you can ask yourself is, am I doing for them what I'd want done for me? So if I was in the situation they're in, Would I want someone to enable my bad negative behavior? Or would I want someone to challenge me and wake me up and get me to change and finally move forward and progress towards my goals? Okay? So think that through as a trainer. You can be a friend and a trainer, but you need to find that balance, and you must make sure you never lose that role as a trainer. That is your ultimate role. Just as a parent is the ultimate to their child, you are a parent first, friend second. You are a trainer first, friend second. Okay? So hopefully this helped. Hopefully it gave you some perspective. And if you have any issues with this, or if you have any kind of concerns or worries or what ifs, always email us. Our email is brutalironjim@gmail.com. And we're happy to help, give some advice, or help you kind of think through the process. Okay? Cool. If you like the podcast, please share it with family and friends. The more people we help, the happier the world will be. Also, if you like this information, you can find more from us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Brutal Iron Gym. And if you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. The podcast is for you, so we want to know what you want to learn about. You can tell us at our email, brutalironjim@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful. And thank you for listening. And thank you for watching.